Hello guys, I am V Sai Srinivas of 10th class from MathMan. Today I will be explaining today's editorial. So let's get started. So today our editorial's title is A Climate Risk. Only proper planning can ensure against the inevitable extremities of nature. The monsoon is nearing its halfway mark, and July, which is among the rainiest months, began with a rainfall deficit but has seen a revival. For most of last week, all India rainfall has been over 50% more than what is normal for this time of the year. Many regions in Konkan coast and the southern peninsula have been seeing instances of extreme rainfall. According to India Meteorological Department data on the regional distribution, the South Peninsula has seen 29% more rain from July 1 to from June 1st to July 25 than what is normal for this period. Rainfall in Mahabaleshwar, Maharashtra was torrential, enough to beat its all-time record according to the Indian Meteorological Department. The monsoon is characterized by unexpected variability that forecast models can capture only in a limited way. However, much evidence is accumulating that there is a distinctive change in climate patterns. The frequency and the strength of cyclones over the Arabian Sea have increased in the last 2 decades. There has been a 52% increase in the frequency of cyclones over the Arabian Sea from 2001 to 2019 and an 8% decrease over the Bay of Bengal compared to 1982 to 2002, when historically most cyclones have been in the Bay of Bengal, according to a new study in climate dynamics. Even the duration of these cyclones has increased by 80%. More cyclones are bringing in more moisture from the Arabian Sea and contributing to extreme rainfall events over the western coast. The most recent example being Cyclone Tauktae in May, which at 185 km per hour was among the strongest cyclones to approach Mumbai. They drive strong surges that flood the coast. Studies show that a heating globe has increased atmospheric moisture levels, contributing to short, intense spells of rainfalls. The interaction between warming, rainfall, and temperature is complex, and variables such as aerosol emissions, particulate matter pollution, agriculture and forestry patterns must be accounted for. However, the broader picture is that extreme events, bursts of torrential localized rainfall, and prolonged droughts and heat waves are likely to increase, making the role of accurate forecasts that are able to warn of such events at least 3 to 5 days ahead are even more important. But the biggest challenge is to undertake so-called climate proofing of the most vulnerable region and taking warnings of scientific risk assessment seriously. Evacuations ahead of flood or a cyclone are not always effective, and what is needed too is limited construction in places that have been marked vulnerable. Just as it is possible to plan earthquake resilient structures and site them scientifically, but hard to anticipate a major quake. Similarly, proper planning can ensure against the inevitable extremities of nature. International climate change agreements to limit greenhouse gases emissions will yield benefits only in the very long term, but what is done in the near future will mean the difference between surviving and thriving. So June and July and the months after that are categorized as rainy seasons. So we know what it means by rainy seasons. These are the times where we get rain, but we didn't receive any kinds of rains in the month of June, and only some parts of India have received them. But surprisingly, all the rain that hasn't occurred is kind of like happening now. So even after July, the rains are still very strong, and the rains we are having present are 50% more than what is normal when compared to the previous year. So the Indian Meteorological Department has divided and distributed the info regarding these rainfalls. The South Peninsula, the Western Coast and others. In the South Peninsula, it received rainfall more than 29% compared to previous year. In Mahabaleshwar and Maharashtra, the rainfall beat its all-time records. If I go further, however, there is evidence stating that there has been a drastic change in the climate patterns. So the strength of cyclones in the Arabian Seas increased from the past 20 years, and in the Bay of Bengal, the intensity of these cyclones has been decreasing by 8% between 1982 and 2002. So that is not good news. So scientists state that the reason behind the long-lasting cyclones is the increase in the temperature of the globe. Because of that, the moisture in the atmosphere is increasing too, and when it increases, it led to many other effects. The duration of cyclones increased by 80%. So but even though it's like this, in the Bay of Bengal, most number of cyclones have occurred, but most of them lasted for less time comparatively to the Arabian Sea. So in May, Taukate was a cyclone that had occurred in May. So it is one of the strongest cyclones that has approached Mumbai. So these cyclones, they lead to floods at the coast. Most of the coasts will be submerged by the water, and the main contributing factor to all of this is the increase in the temperature, and it also contributing to intense rains. The interaction or the relationship between the temperature, rainfall is very complex. So the aerosol emissions, particulate matter pollution, agricultural and forestry patterns will be changing continuously. So they will be responsible for the change in the rainfall and other factors too. So sometimes it is unpredictable. So however, in extreme events such as bursts of localized rainfall and etc., the main reason is that these heat waves, rainfall are going to increase even more. So The meteorological department is able to forecast or predict the cyclones and other calamities before 3 to 5 days. So in these 3 to 5 days uh, they will be able to uh, evacuate the people who are prone to these cyclones and living in the cyclone prone areas. So even though sometimes this forecasting is ineffective, what is needed the most is to mark the vulnerable areas, and they have to limit the number of constructions in these areas and decrease the population over there. In regions where the chances of earthquakes are more, strong constructions and less constructions must be made. So, and the other point is the international climate change agreements state that all the countries have to decrease their emission of greenhouse gases respectively, and it would benefit them in a long time or long term. So it will benefit the people of next generation, and it will show humanity the difference between surviving and thriving. Thank you.